Hello guys, and welcome back into this video. In today's video, I want to take a look at the top stocks that I'm watching for this week as well as for the entire month. Now I do have a lot of setups, especially Tesla. It looks very nice. I have a lot of setups that I'm watching, a lot of clean, nice setups that you guys should watch this video and probably add these stocks to your watch list. Now I will be starting off with the economic calendar. We have inflation numbers this week. Now this is going to be very important because first of all, we have OPEC cutting oil supply. So we saw oil, rising up, and I personally saw oil went from $4.20 to $4.40 in the area that I am in, Chicago. So CPI and inflation numbers is going to be very, very important for this week, and overall if Powell is going to be talking for rest of the month. Now again, please go to investing.com/economic calendar. You guys can see some very nice statistics and what we are expecting for the inflation numbers. So anything above 8%, especially 9%, it is going to be very, very bad. And you guys should know now, go to cnbc.com right at market open during the inflation. When the inflation number comes out, it'll be on CNBC and the market will kind of price that in. Now let's get started with SPY first. So we are off on that yearly low. So as we can see, we are on that yearly low and we are at a major level of support. So the bulls need to hold this level, okay? And the bears need to break this level. So if you are a bear, you want the market to go down, a break below 362 is going to be very, very bearish because this is a massive support. And not only that, it is the yearly low. So I gave this, in a very, very good example on how, if a lot of people are holding SPY, they might have a stop loss, down over here. So if we break this, it's going to cause a massive spike to the downside because of all of these stop losses and then selling pressure. Now what is my price target for this month? So my price target is still $333. Now how did I get that number? Again, the average drop for a recession is 30%. So 30 or sometimes even 34%. So that is how I got my price target for SPY. We are in a recession. We should take a look at the other statistics, and on average, the SPY drops 30%, and honestly that would make sense because that would mean that we would wipe out all the COVID gains. So as if COVID did not even exist, we would go back to pre-pandemic levels, and to me that just makes sense. It is more logical. So that is my price target for SPY for this month. QQQ, really same thing. We are on a yearly low. If you break this massive, selling pressure, the bulls need to hold this level, and we just have this trend line. Okay, if we want to be really, really bullish, we need to break this to the upside. Now my first play that I am looking at is Tesla. Now Tesla looks very nice. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I'm going to go on the weekly setup. The weekly looks very nice for Tesla. So we have a symmetrical triangle. So this is a neutral pattern. So whichever side it closes, if it closes below, it is bearish, or if it closes above, it is bullish. Now, since this is on the weekly time frame, it is important to see on where we close on the weekly time frame. I'm taking a look at Tesla, and right now it is at a major level of support. Now, I want to show this to you guys, okay? So, if people bought in Tesla, over here, okay, all of the people who bought in Tesla, who are maybe bullish in Tesla, where are they gonna have their stop loss? And the logical answer is right, on this level of support. So if anyone who bought Tesla, anyone who is on long-term Tesla shares, they're maybe going to have a stop loss over here because this is a trend line. So this is a trend line. And if we break this trend line, we don't know how low we are going to go. So it is safe to assume that a lot of people have a very nice stop loss over here. So if we do break this level, this is going to cause a massive selling pressure. Now this is an analogy that I gave off to McDonald's. So just like McDonald's, I was explaining this with McDonald's. I made a video on McDonald's. I was very bullish, but again, all the people who bought McDonald's over here, okay, they're probably in for like long-term shares. They believe in the company, whatever, but most likely they're going to have a stop loss, if we break this to the downside, because we are breaking the trend. So this is very important psychologically to understand stop loss, where people are placing their stop loss. So that is going to be very interesting for Tesla, and that is what I'm watching for Tesla. So I'm looking to potentially play calls over here, and we're going to have a very tight stop loss. So if it closes below, that's a very nice stop loss. And I love the risk to reward for calls for Tesla, especially if we take a look at the RSI. On top of that, we also have earnings like very soon. So that is also going to be very interesting for Tesla. Next, I have MU. So this is Micron Technology. It goes on with semiconductors. So I'm taking a look at Micron, and I'm taking a look at the weekly time frame, and it looks very interesting. Now keep in mind, I'm charting out Micron, and it has a series of very nice patterns. If I go over here, I could see it had massive consolidation periods. So it had, massive consolidation periods, which then it broke out, downtrend, and then it broke this out, and again we are in a downtrend. So I'm taking a look at potential calls for Micron if we close above $55. So if we close below this level of resistance on the weekly time frame, so I want to see a big green weekly candle. If we close above, that is going to give us confirmation for Micron Technology. And I'm loving this play on Micron because we can take a look at the history, we can take a look at the past, and we could see it follows the analysis very nice. So I'm going to be watching Micron this whole month. And next I have Macy's. Now this is a very interesting one because we have Christmas coming up. Okay, we have October, we have November, and then we have December. So we have Christmas coming up, and it's going to be very interesting if people are going to be buying up Macy's stock, before the potential Christmas rally. Now this is on the weekly time frame, and we have a very nice falling wedge. This is also a nice cheap stock. So if you actually take a look at over here, this is a $17 stock. So, pretty fast mover, very cheap and affordable stock for Macy's. And I'm watching really the same thing. I want to see it close above the resistance. Okay, this is the resistance. We want to see Macy's, close above the resistance and on the weekly time frame. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, because that is where the pattern is. Now we can kind of zoom in and go on the daily time frame, and we can see potential price targets around $22.50. We have another one at $20, which is psychologically a very nice number, but I am absolutely loving Macy's. Okay, one thing to really keep in mind is it just looks very nice, looks very interesting, and the options might be a little bit weird. So shares might be a better option for Macy's, but to me this looks like a very nice play. Next, last but not least, I have oil. Now I'm watching oil this whole entire month because OPEC is cutting supply. So OPEC contains, Middle East and some of Russia, I believe, and basically, they're putting pressure on the supply for oil, and we already saw, oil kind of moving up the past few days. If I'm taking a look at XLE, which is the oil ETF, we have a nice setup going on for oil. So are we going to see a potential ejection over here to the downside? Because I'm taking a look at a potential play, but overall I am just watching. Another thing to keep in mind for oil is if it keeps running, and let's just say we hit all-time highs, we can have a potential play on the gaps. So for example, if oil goes up and then it gaps up and we consolidate, this could be a nice setup for a potential short. So I'm looking at potential shorting oil, once we get into those overbought levels. And again, I love gaps. Gaps are a very nice strategy, and especially taking a look at XLE. XLE has a lot of potential gaps to fill. So overall, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very, very simple video. For this week, we have a lot of catalysts. We have earnings week. Okay, so we have tech earnings, bank earnings. So we have earnings week starting up this week, and it's going to be very, very interesting. On top of that, again, I made a video on the unemployment number. So it's going to be interesting to see the next unemployment number, because we want to see people go jobless. And then on top of that, how many times is Powell going to raise interest rate and what number. So overall, a lot of things to come this month. Be careful and trade safely, and see you guys later. Bye bye.